here in the Lehi City Hall in our council chambers. All council members are accounted for tonight. Council Member Newell, Council Member Harrison, Council Member Freeman, Council Member Stallings, and Council Member Lockhart. We welcome all guests, and we also welcome all staff who are here with us this evening. To start, we will stand, and I've asked Council Member Lockhart to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilmember Lockhart. First item tonight is presentations reports. I don't believe we have any, so we're good there. So we're going to open it up. We're going to go first to our citizens' comments. Let me give you kind of the rules of the land here. We welcome you all if you'd like to come and make comment. If you see that you have an item that's on our agenda tonight, there are some items that we will reopen it for public comment. So we'd ask that you would keep those comments to the items on the agenda as we go. However, we'd love to hear from you, so we'll open it for public comment. When you come, we'd ask that you state your name, your whole name. You'll have 3 minutes to share what's on your mind, and so we'll start public comment.
Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council, thank you for this public comment time. My name is Chris Rollins. I've been a homeowner in Lehi for over 11 years. During the last City Council work session, there was a discussion regarding the 700 South bike lanes, and I would like to add my voice as a Lehi homeowner to this discussion. I love the protected bike lanes, called a cycle track on the Master Transportation Plan. Me and my family use them every week. I use them to commute to work, and my family uses the bike lane on 500 West to commute to church on Sunday. Not commute, to bike to church on Sunday. In my experience, the cycle track or protected bike lane has a number of important advantages for all riders and joggers and others, but especially for biking with younger riders and as families. On more common bike lanes where there are parked cars, then the bike lane, then moving traffic, people on bikes are riding between fast-moving traffic on one side and coming up behind parked cars who aren't looking for you on the other. At every moment, there's the risk of moving cars swerving or taking up your bike lane space, or drivers in parked cars opening their doors into you. On the other hand, the cycle track or protected bike lane uses cars that are parked on city streets to create a physical barrier between moving cars and children on bicycles. Having biked individually and with my wife and children quite a bit all over Lehi on both kinds of streets and all types of bike lanes, it is clear to me that this design is much safer and does promote active transportation and the advantages that come with that. Of course, that does not mean that there aren't still places where there is risk, including at intersections. And yes, cars and bikers, all users, need to learn and follow traffic laws. But that applies to all bike infrastructure and road design. I don't see how putting young riders closer to moving traffic would make them safer. I understand that some residents really don't like them, and I can support exploring solutions to address concerns. Curbing instead of the white poles, maybe adjust the width of the lanes, better signage at intersections, or going to a split track where there are single direction lanes on either side of the road. But I strongly encourage and request that you keep them as a cycle track or protected bike lanes, with a physical barrier between moving traffic and children on bicycles, as has been on the City Master Transportation Plan for over 10 years. I was watching the meeting earlier with the Y2K survey results in the vein of quality of life and all of that. I'd like to say that the bike lanes, these bike lanes, and some of the other improvements that were made with the money that was originally designated for these bike lanes are some of the best and most direct ways that the city has improved the quality of life for me and my family since we've lived here. And I asked my wife if that was hyperbolic, and she said absolutely not. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Rollins.
Hello, my name is Lynette McKenna. I am a representative of the Ruth and Nathan Hale Theater that is in Pleasant Grove. and just wanted to take this opportunity to make the citizens aware, the community aware of Lehi, that the Ruth is highlighting Lehi City this upcoming week, February 2nd through February 7th. Tickets are available for the 2 shows that are playing. Forever Plaid, such a wonderful performance. If you have not had the opportunity to see that show, it is fabulous and so entertaining. And then also Fiddler on the Roof is playing. So either one of those shows, any citizens of the Lehi community can get discount tickets for any show between the 2nd and the 7th. Reservations can be made online at theruth.org, or can call the theater, and you can so there is a coupon code that you would enter in, Lehi 5. I just wanted to make everyone aware of that. Thanks so much for the time.
Thank you.
I'm going to set a timer for myself. Also, I recently went to the Ruth Christmas Carol. It's fantastic.
What was your name?
My name's Hunter Page.
Thank you.
Yep, Hunter Page. I've lived here for about 4 years. Live also near North Lake Park. Biked here tonight. My favorite part was going down Center Street in the nice big bike lane. For me, perfect. Made sure I set my timer. So for me, the sign of a civilized society is not that people are forced to use public transportation, but that they choose to. And I understand that we're in a car-centric world. I love cars. I love off-roading. So I also bike to church every Sunday with my family. My little 1-year-old, we hop in the cargo bike and head to church. Additionally, I bike to the train and from the train. Spending time on the train, I talk to a lot of people and ask them. They'll sit down, we'll talk about bikes, and they'll say, oh, I love biking. The reason I don't is because it's so dangerous. And ultimately, what I think we come to is that being in a car-centric society, and again, I love cars, is that we will constantly be making accommodations for them to make things easier for them. But ultimately, there's a lot of studies showing that we're at capacity for efficiency for vehicles. At this point, commuting times are only growing. And so I think the best way to alleviate that traffic is to make cycling easier. In fact, my biggest issue with the bike lanes on 700 as well as on Center Street is just that they're not more expansive. Probably get some eye rolls on that. But again, I appreciate your time. Similarly, as Chris said 2 speakers ago, first time I biked down Center Street and on 700, when I first saw it, my jaw dropped. It was just a magical experience. And not that I want to compare ourselves to any European cities or any other cities. If you've ever been to Copenhagen and you saw the mothers biking their little kids to school on these big old bikes, it's a magical experience. And I get to taste that every Sunday as I bike my little kid to school and plan to do so. And hopefully they stay in a safe way. And as they become more expansive and we keep investing in cycling infrastructure, more people will use them and less people will be driving. It will be better for everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Page.
Hello, my name is Crystal Harmon. I just wanted to talk about the 1900 thing that was talked about in the pre-meeting because I'm one of the houses that's in the Lehi part of that with the expansion. And I'm happy for the expansion to come. Obviously, we do need the commuter there. What my concern is with the 5 lanes that there is not adequate protection for our neighborhood and our children that are there for the cars that are already going really fast. Like we had a speed study done just a few months ago and like 80% of the cars were going 42 or higher in a 25. So I would ask that you guys consider what's part of the budget with expanding that, giving us something more than crosswalks where we're paying for the flags, you know, like try and help make it safer for these kids. And our fences, there was a car that was commuting just like in December, and they hit a parked trailer, and it went through the neighbor's fence, like 2 fence panels for my kids' playground. Like, we need to do something to protect these children from these commuters that are not really caring that we're neighbors here. And I just asked you to consider what we could do to make it safer for us on 1900. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Harmon.
Good evening, Mayor Benz and council members. Thank you for your time. My name is Matt Redford. I am the founder of Blaze 360. We're a Utah-based company that is focused on improving community risk reduction and emergency preparedness. As Lehi continues to grow and our buildings are becoming more complex, for our fire marshal's office, code enforcement and first responders keep accurate, up-to-date documentation on every commercial occupancy is becoming harder every year. Pre-plans, inspection photos, building documentation often live in separate applications for certain jurisdictions. They can get outdated quickly, and firefighters may not have the most current information when an incident happens. That gap costs time, and in emergencies, time is everything. My company, Blaze 360, as we create a full 360-degree documentation of any building, inside and out. So firefighters and inspectors can virtually walk a property before they ever arrive. This includes digital pre-planning, high-risk occupancy documentation, historical records of remodels, easy sharing across departments as well, where not just the fire department, building code and enforcement, emergency management, but also the police department. It's a fast and accurate way of giving Lehi a defensible, accessible digital record of every high-risk property here. This supports the fire department's mission, improves safety for citizens and first responders, and reduces liability for the city. Many agencies nationwide are moving in this direction towards more of a digital pre-planning, and Lehi has the opportunity to be a leader in this. So I ask you as a council to consider directing your city staff, fire, community development, and legal teams to evaluate Blaze 360 and how we can explore incorporating digital building documentation into Lehi's existing code or inspection standards. Thank you for your time and for everything you do for this community. And I'd be happy to answer any questions or schedule a workshop to dig a little bit deeper.
Thank you, Mr. Redford. I appreciate it.
My name is Jose Zuniga. I am a member for the Western State Union Carpenters here in Lehi. There's a small group right now joining me with me at this meeting. We just want to know that, I just want to say that we want to work with you with our city. There's a lot of companies right now that are doing business under the table, paying cash. We just want to have the opportunity to work in our city with our companies, that are union. We do have a lot of teenagers graduating from high school. They are having the apprenticeship classes. We just want you to have a work with you in a friendly way, and have a fair share to work with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Zuniga. Any other comments? We will close the public comment. Thank you for those who shared. We'll go to item number 4, the consent agenda. Take any motions on that? Any questions?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
So I have a motion from Councilmember Newell,
I'll second it.
a second from Councilmember Stallings. Any questions? So we'll take a vote. Councilmember Lockhart,
Yes.
Councilmember Newell,
Yes.
Councilmember Harrison,
Yes.
Councilmember Freeman,
Yes.
Councilmember Stallings.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, our next item number 5, is a public hearing. So at 7, let me tell you what it is. It's the transportation impact fees. It's consideration of ordinance 03-2026, adopting an impact fee, facilities plan and impact fee analysis, and amend the impact fees for transportation. This is a public hearing, so it's at, what time it is? 7:25. We will open it for public comment for our public hearing. Okay, so if there's no comments, I will close our public hearing at 7:25 and bring it back to the council. Any questions on the impact fees or this item?
Do we have someone present on it at all, or no? Or because they presented on it at the work session, that counts?
It's up to you, Mayor. We can have a presentation, or
Do we?
feel good?
Why don't you come up and present?
Hey, good evening, Council. I'm Rachel Volek with Bone Collins Associates. I'm here with Andrew McKinnon to present on the Lehi Transportation Impact Fee. As was mentioned, I was here about 2 weeks ago to present at the work session. And this is just a condensed presentation for the benefit of the public. Just as a reminder, some changes since the previous update. The last full analysis for the impact fee on the transportation side was completed in 2015. There was a new transportation master plan drafted in 2025, and that has directly gone into the impact fee calculations. This master plan included updated future project planning and cost estimation, which is important for the impact fee as that directly correlates with it. We've also been looking at the updated growth projections, which impact the projects within the 10-year window. And there has been several previously identified projects that are now complete or nearing completion with actual costs known. This final point is important just because it helps include the changing cost of construction over time between the planning period and the actual construction period, so it allows the city to recoup that cost. Just as a reminder, the purpose of an impact fee is to help answer this question of how can we pay for the new infrastructure required to service future growth so that existing users aren't subsidizing future users, or vice versa. Specifically, the impact fee looks at 3 different classes: the existing user, the user within the 10-year window, and the user beyond the 10-year window. And this allows developers, as they come in, to pay for impacts on the existing system or any new infrastructure that's required within that 10-year window. As part of this analysis, we completed an impact fee facilities plan and an impact fee analysis. So the facilities plan identifies projects needed to accommodate growth and allocates cost of projects between existing and future users based on who specifically benefits from the project. And an impact fee analysis calculates the appropriate impact fee based on information from that facilities plan. So as was mentioned, we received projects from the master plan, the transportation master plan that was completed by Hales Engineering, and they provided us with projects that were expected within the 10-year window, and those directly went into the impact fee. And here's a summary of the impact fee analysis. Just for context, the existing impact fee for transportation is $121.79 per trip, and we're recommending that it be increased to $146.87. That's about a 20% increase. If you'll notice here in column 3, there's a schedule that provides credit for users within the 10-year window. And that's specifically looking at deficiencies within the system. There has been some growth that it was greater than was anticipated, and so there are some deficiencies currently in the Lehi transportation. And this just allocates a schedule for that. As you can't, as a 10-year user, can't both pay for infrastructure through the impact fee in addition to through taxes and things like that when they become a member of the city. And so here's a schedule that kind of schedules that out. If we're including the credit, it's only about a 10% increase in 2026, and then that increases slowly into a 20% increase in 2035. So we would recommend that the council adopt this impact fee. And then just some conclusions. Again, it's about a 10% increase in 2026, 20% increase in 2025. We would also recommend that the council update the impact fee every 2 to 3 years, just so that they can recoup as much inflationary costs as possible, as is a part of the construction process. And then just really quick, next steps is the public hearing, which is right now, adoption should the council choose to adopt. And then just a reminder that the impact fee doesn't go into effect until 90 days following the adoption. Thank you. Any comments or questions?
Any questions? No. Mr. Wood, do I need to reopen that? No, we're good. Okay.
Thank you.
I'd be happy to take a motion.
Okay, we'll see if I do this the right way.
Oh, you want to try?
We'll see.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt ordinance number 3-2026, adopting the impact fee facilities plan and impact fee analysis and amended impact fees for transportation.
So I have a motion from Councilmember Freeman. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Councilmember Harrison. Any questions on the motions?
Would you also include in your motion that we should revisit this every 2 years for inflation cost increase?
Yes.
So we'll include in that motion then that we revisit this every 2 years moving forward so that we stay a little more current versus behind, correct?
Correct, yep.
Any other questions on the motion? Nope.
Second.
Second stands with Councilmember Freeman, or first with Councilmember Freeman, second with Councilmember Harrison. We'll start with Councilmember Newell.
Yes.
Councilmember Harrison?
Yes.
Councilmember Freeman?
Yes.
Councilmember Stallings?
Yes.
And Councilmember Lockhart.
Yes.
So that passes. Okay, item 6, consideration of resolution 2026-04, approving an amendment with RME for the construction of the Sky substation. So I know someone here is here presenting that. Come and tell us your name.
Brent Thomas, the Assistant Director with the Power Department. I don't really have a presentation, just this is the agreement for the construction of the Sky substation that we have put out a formal bid. RME was the successful bidder on that, and pending approval with the City Council would like to start construction in mid-February. So,
Awesome. Any questions?
I actually had just a construction question. I noticed that on the bid, the line item for like the erection of it was the largest, and just curious because I'm new to this and new to substation contracting. Why would that be the most expensive part?
So this is one portion of the substation building process. We have already went out for to purchase the transformers, the building for the breakers and other large equipment. So this is just the portion to be able to assemble the substation. It includes the actual erecting of the steel, placing the transformer, the concrete, those type things. So this is kind of the middle section of the process.
Cool, thank you.
Any other questions? I'll take a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve resolution number 2026-4, approving an agreement with RME for the construction of the Sky substation.
So I have a first by Councilmember Harrison.
I second it.
We have a second from Councilmember Freeman. Any questions on that motion? Mr. Harrison, we'll start with you.
Yes.
Councilmember Freeman?
Yes.
Councilmember Stallings?
Yes.
Councilmember Lockhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Newell?
Yes.
Thank you. Item number 7, consideration of resolution 2026-03, approving amendments to the ProStill Customs Development Agreement. Petitioner is Malacus LLC. Dusty Yates, is he here? You can approach. Hello.
My name is Dusty Yates. Okay, so Lehi City Council already approved this in May, and we loved it, but my mistake, I didn't realize that my name has to be on this, so that's all I wanted to do was add my name, Malacus. And then I remember a couple things, might have been you or what, didn't like the U-Hauls in here, so I don't like U-Hauls either, took the U-Haul out, so that's no longer a part of it. And then somebody else, I have a really long 180-foot park strip. They didn't like the grass, and so I've taken that out and made it really, really beautiful park strip now. So I've done everything, and so all I need to have is exactly what has already been approved, and just add Malacus, my company name, to it. That's it.
Staff, any comments on this?
No, unless you have questions.
Are there any questions?
I just had a question. The right turn lane southbound onto Main Street from 2300, is there a current plan to have that an additional right lane, or is that set?
Do you want to answer that, Lauren?
This is at 2300 West on the northwest corner, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are going to put a turn lane in there.
Okay. So that'll come into that property a little bit, correct? Okay.
Wow. Thank you.
Did you know that?
yet.
Okay.
Aren't you glad you came tonight?
Yes.
Mayor, may I ask a question?
Yes.
So Kim, and I remember this, it was specifically for U-Hauls, but now we're opening it up for auto sales too?
Yeah, the way it was written, it said automotive sales, including U-Haul. So really, the auto sales already encompasses U-Haul, but where he doesn't intend to do that any longer, we just took that part of it out. So it still allows the definition of automobile sales and rental includes, typical car dealerships as well as U-Haul rentals and things like that. So it's not really broadening it. It already allowed that. But the U-Haul was specifically mentioned because that was, at the time, that was the specific use that they were after. But I think it did include just automotive sales in general.
I'm sorry. I thought it was specifically for you to rent U-Hauls, but you said that wasn't part of it, or?
It was, but
originally,
it
yeah.
mentioned auto sales, including U-Haul. I'd have to. Yeah.
It was.
My previous renter had kind of a mechanic shop for trailers, and then he tried to add U-Hauls without me even knowing about it, and he kind of threw it in. So I have no intentions of U-Hauls myself.
Oh, I see. So you don't want the U-Hauls. Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't going to do U-Hauls
that
regardless.
was the point of the development agreement originally, correct? Or
well, this the sales. They wanted to sell trailers, and now so just the sales of cars and just a simple car sales.
Okay.
And
it's
so
a commercial zone, correct?
Yeah, zone commercial.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's all the questions I have. Thanks.
So, Mayor, if I may. So to clarify, we're doing a development agreement here because it's zoned commercial, and in our table of uses here, it looks like car sales is in heavy commercial. So we're doing the development agreement. Something I've looked at, as I've looked at other codes, other cities' codes, is that they do have the car sales in commercial. A lot of majority of cities, I would say, in Utah, they typically do have some lot restrictions, size maybe.
Yeah.
Some do. Farmington has half an acre. North Salt Lake has 2 acres. So I don't know if that's something that
here it's 1
wants
acre,
to-
and I have 1.27 acres.
Yeah,
Okay.
Councilmember Freeman, I
Yeah.
actually met with Kim this week to talk about that, and Councilmember Newell and I were going to have them start working on a draft of something like that to bring to a work session with the same intent of like having car sales back into the commercial zone.
Okay, well, opens the conversation. There we go.
And Mr. Mayor, if I may, is there a limit under this agreement for how many cars can be on the lot?
No.
Okay.
No. I think that would be, we'd have to make sure they have enough area for customer parking and display.
Right.
But yeah, there is no set limit in the.
Yeah, I don't think there needs to be. I was just curious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If there's no other questions, I'll consider a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve Resolution 2026-3, approving amendments to the Pro Steel Customs Development Agreement and include all DRC comments.
So I have a motion from Councilmember Newell. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Councilmember Harrison. Any questions on that motion? So we'll start with you, Councilmember Harrison.
Yes.
Councilmember Freeman.
Yes.
Councilmember Stallings.
Yes.
Councilmember Lockhart.
Yes, and I would like to add, I'm not a fan of development agreements, but I'd like to honor what was done by the prior council for you, and so I am voting yes today to honor that.
All right. And Councilmember Newell.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Yates.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Okay, item number 8. Consideration of ordinance 01-2026, approving the Cold Springs Ranch Area Plan Amendment to allow short-term rentals. The petitioner is Kenneth Glod. Is Kenneth here? Do you want to approach and kind of give us some? We've received a lot of emails about this week, so.
I'm pretty sure you did. Well, good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is Kenneth Glod. I'm just going to read if you allow me to. I am a homeowner and a resident of Cold Spring Ranch, and I respectfully submit this statement in support of the proposed amendment to the area floor plan that would allow owner-occupied short-term rentals. And I ask the City Council to approve this resolution, as I believe it represents a fair, responsible, and community-focused approach to modern homeownership. Owner-occupied STRs provide homeowners with an opportunity to responsibly supplement their income while continuing to live in, care for, and invest in their homes. For many families, including mine, this additional income supports financial stability, helps offset rising costs, and allows homeowners to remain in their neighborhoods long term. When the owner is present, the home is not a transient business. It remains a primary residence anchored in accountability and personal stewardship. Contrary to concerns raised by some opponents of this amendment, owner-occupied STRs do not cause more harm to neighborhoods than long-term rentals, nor do they negatively impact on-street parking. In practice, STR guests primarily use garage spaces and driveways, such as permanent residents do. These stays are short, structured, and monitored. There is no evidence that owner-occupied STRs generate parking congestion beyond what already exists in any residential community. Additionally, platforms such as Airbnb provide a high level of accountability for both homeowners and guests. These platforms rely heavily on reviews, rating, and documented behavior. Guests are required to follow house rules, respect quiet hours, and comply with local ordinances. Homeowners, in turn, are incentivized to maintain high standards of conduct and responsiveness, as negative feedback directly impacts their ability to receive future bookings. This mutual accountability creates a strong incentive for cooperation and respectful behavior. By comparison, long-term rentals often operate with far less oversight and accountability. Often tenants in long-term arrangements are not subject to public review systems, and issues may persist for extended periods before any resolution. Long-term renters are also more likely to host visitors over longer durations, which can increase on-street parking usage without the same level of monitoring or enforcement mechanisms found in STR platforms. In closing, owner-occupied STRs strike a thoughtful balance between individual property rights and neighborhood integrity. They support homeowners' financial goals, promote accountability, and do not introduce risks often associated with non-owner-occupied rentals. I respectfully ask the City Council to consider these facts and approve the proposed amendment. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. Any questions?
I'm curious, Mayor, if we could have a raise of hands of how many people are here for this item.
Sure, raise them high. So 3 of you, 4 of you.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of emails.
Yeah, Mayor, if I can, I guess this is more for staff. There, I can't remember who said it, so Kim, remind me. But Someone said this may approval. Obviously, this is an area plan across the city. It's allowed. There's state code with specific rules. The city allows it under certain rules. And you said, I think you said that it could open up a can of worms. I don't know if that was you, Kim, that said it. Just looking through Planning Commission notes. But if that was you, can you elaborate? If not, then I'll pretend I didn't see that.
Yeah, I don't remember saying can of worms. But you are correct. We do allow short-term rental through most of the city. There are certain areas like Cold Spring where it might be excluded because of an area plan. An area plan can supersede. It's basically its own set of rules for that community, and they can, a lot of times they match pretty closely to what we allow in other areas. But in this case, this area plan excludes the short-term rentals. I think, we have some pretty good controls. We do require the owner occupancy, parking. You have to have parking based on how many bedrooms. We haven't ran into a lot of really big enforcement issues. We have had a few, and it was, a matter of, hey, you need to get a license, or you need to make sure you live in the unit. You can't just rent your entire house out as an Airbnb. But by and large, they seem to have operated okay in other parts of the city. So it really, to me, this just comes down to, I know the HOA has different feelings. They feel like they should retain control and not allow those for their own reasons. And I'm sure they'll probably be here to maybe speak for that. But it really just comes down to if as a city we don't have any issues of opening this area up as a city, and then they would have to decide how they're going to react as an HOA if they want to continue to, because they could try to continue to restrict those as a homeowner, but that would be a civil matter, private, not Lehi City at that point. So.
Okay. Thanks, Kim. And Mr. Glod,
yes, sir.
By your estimation, within Cold Spring Ranch, how many homeowners would be interested in doing short-term rentals?
I really don't have a clue to that question. I would say probably within 15 to 20 homeowners.
Okay, so DRC Comments recommended that HOA was notified about this, and then the Planning Commission, the president of the HOA spoke, but said they were speaking as an individual, not on behalf of the HOA. Has the HOA? Are they here? Have they made a statement about this?
We could probably do that in public comment if they're here.
Okay, all right. Okay.
And Mr. Mayor, if I may, are you finished?
Yeah, I'm done now.
My understanding is that by permitting this in the area plan, we are not challenging the HOA's authority to dictate how their community implements that permitted, right? So the HOA could still say, like, with HOA approval or, anything like that. And so one framework that this item could be evaluated from is from, like, a local control perspective, where the city is essentially going to say, yep, go govern yourselves. And this is something that we want our citizens to do with their HOA. And I appreciate that it would be consistent with throughout the other areas of the city, and allowing the HOA and the members of the HOA to determine the rules of engagement.
A couple of questions, if I may. Kind of wondering the difference with short-term rentals and long-term rentals with the requirements, the restrictions. Are short-term rentals have higher levels of requirement when it comes to parking? If you could speak to that. And then also, when it comes to enforcement, city enforcement versus an HOA. With the city, we have limited, we don't have a housing authority. How do we enforce this? What can the city actually do to enforce compliance with that versus what an HOA is able to do?
Okay. So the parking, it is based on the size of the short-term rental, how many bedrooms they have, and there is a maximum occupancy of 10. Just because once you go beyond that, you actually start to get into different building codes where you have, more of a group occupancy versus, it leaves that realm of the single family or just a traditional family size occupancy. So with let's take a single family home, for example, we require 2 parking stalls. If you have a short-term rental, it adds a parking requirement for that short-term rental based on the number of bedrooms. So you'd have to show that, maybe you have a 3rd-car driveway that you can park your guests in that goes beyond what just the minimum requirements for the home are. When you get into ADUs and things like that, they have their own parking, and that's more of a long-term rental. And the state has actually regulated how much parking we can require on those so that we're not too restrictive. But the short-term rentals, again, from what we've seen with the ones that have been licensed, there have been a few hot spots, and it was really early on, and I think that was before we set the limit of 10, where we had some that just kind of overflowed with on-street parking and things like that. But I think, and then so as far as enforcement, as a city, it is just on a complaint basis. There's not a really easy way to go out and monitor these. In fact, the state has restricted cities that, you could go out and look on listings on Airbnb or VRBO and say, hey, there's a listing here that they don't have a license for. That we can't actually use that as a way to enforce. So we have to just go based on complaints. So if we have somebody that's operating one and they don't have a license, the neighbors could complain, and we could, if there's a violation, then we'd let them know these are the rules. If you can meet those, we can license you. If not, you need to stop operating. I don't know if that answered. And then HOAs, would have a separate private remedy for enforcement. They could impose fines. They could, I'm not sure what other HOA tools they have to enforce, but that would be a separate enforcement action, separate from Lehi City.
Thank you. Mayor, I have a question for staff. So to have a short-term rental, you have to apply to the city and get a permit.
Yes.
Do you check to see if they have adequate parking, if they meet the parking requirements?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they have to provide a site plan and show where their guests would park.
Okay. And is there any way, you're saying that enforcement is based on complaints, so how would the neighbors or residents know if they're licensed to have a short-term rental or not? Is that...
Yeah, if they called, we could check, and, if we have the address, we could look it up and say, yes, they have a valid license. Now, even if they had a license, they might still be in violation of our rules, so there still could be enforcement action that needs to be taken. But, it would really just be a matter of when they called if they had concerns or a complaint, we could check, and then it would be just information that we could provide them.
Yeah, and I'm imagining that there wouldn't be complaints unless there was some other